Welcome to all of you, our friends and confrères from la Commanderie d'Amérique de la Confrérie des Chevaliers du Tastevin. We are here in le château du Clos de Vougeot, on the Renaissance part, dans le grand salon, and you can see the vineyards at the end of the day. Yesterday was due to happen the traditional chapitre des tulipes. With this pandemic, we were obliged to cancel once again, and our activities have been postponed for more than a year now. With the Tastevin team and with the help of your GPG, Peter Leish, we have been thinking to propose new ideas in order to keep contact with you. It is 3 years now that we have been creating les Majors of Tastevinage, a selection of Burgundy wines that for each level of appellation guarantee enjoyment and great discoveries. The aim is not to propose wines or domains that you already know, but to offer new wineries as well new producers. Not everybody is imported to the US, but as we hope that you will enjoy them. As you know, the vineyards had a very bad morning this week with big frost, but we don't know exactly today what is the loss of vendange, and we need 3 or 4 more weeks to count exactly the loss. We are 216 Chevaliers attending to this tasting from 25 states, from the shore, Pacific shore to California, New York, Greenwich, Cape Girardeau, Palm Beach, Boca Grande, Sarasota, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Saint Louis, Atlanta, New Orleans, Naples, Tampa, Shreveport, Stove, Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, Denver, Memphis, Santa Barbara, Indianapolis, and the Château du Clos de Vougeot, bien sûr. I would like Peter Leish, the Grand Pilier Général, to say a few words.
Good morning. I can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Peter.
Well.
Okay, well, assuming you can hear me, as Grand Pilier Général of the Commanderie d'Amérique, I'm happy to welcome all of the 200 US Tastevin attendees to today's Zoom webinar wine tasting. COVID has interrupted many of our events, but we continue to try to find creative ways to share our love for Burgundy, and today is another new approach. I'd also like to take the time to say thank you to Grand Maître Vincent Barbier, Intendant Général Arnaud Orcel, and all of the award-winning winemakers for making this webinar possible. That's especially true since this event is being held on a Sunday evening at 7:30 French time to accommodate the American time difference. We greatly appreciate it. We also appreciate your presentations being in English. I assure you that your English is better than our French. But I will say to the winemakers, félicitations, congratulations on receiving the prestigious 2020 Majors Tastevinage Award. We are eager to taste your wonderful wines and hear your comments. Also to the winemakers, we're sorry to hear of the bad frost that you experienced last week. Although the yields may be down, we are sure your quality will be as great as ever. Merci encore, and back to you, Arnaud. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bonjour à tous. Hi to everybody. We are very excited to start this tasting, and we really welcome you in Burgundy. Eva is here, and we have just shown her vineyard from La Perrière. So I hope you have all been able to see this. I just wanted to tell you a bit more about what is the Tastevinage. and what we do in the Grand Cellar when we. Oh, my tie is not very nice. Sorry. Whoop. I see. Whoop. Voila, much better. When we test, so we just want to show you a little film on what's happening at the Château du Clos de Vougeot during the Tastevinage. So let us see this little film. So these are the pictures taken on the last Tastevinage that happened on the March 19th for the 107th edition at the Château du Clos de Vougeot. As you know, the Tastevinage was created by the Confrérie des Chevaliers du Tastevin in June 1950. It's a rigorous test of wine from every corner of Burgundy wine region, from Chablis to the Beaujolais cru, with the purpose of selecting those wines that come up to the standard of their appellation and vintages. These are then awarded to the seal of the Confrérie des Chevaliers du Tastevin, allowing the consumer to identify those wines which, because of their integrity, personality, and indisputable quality, have shown themselves worthy of this distinction. Each year, the Confrérie des Chevaliers du Tastevin organizes 2 Tastevinage sessions, in spring and in autumn. In the great Cistercian cellar at the Château du Clos de Vougeot, a jury of more than 250 wine testers, this year was a little less because of COVID, chosen from an elite of connoisseurs and fine palates, are gathered. Famous wine growers, wine merchants, leaders of the viticultural associations, brokers, enologists, restaurateurs, government officials working in partnership with the wine industry, enthusiastic and knowledgeable wine lover, all surrounded by the Confrérie official and journalists. At each table, a score of wine presented anonymously, with no mention of the grower or negotiant, are subjected to a rigorous organoleptic examination, as you see on the picture, lasting more than 2 hours. It's very difficult, you can imagine. The questions the judges have to ask themselves are very precise. Does this wine conform to its appellation and vintage? Is it really typical, and will it improve with age? In other words, is it a wine I would be happy to have in my cellar and proud to serve to my friends? The Tastevinage has to be of use of all lovers of Bourgogne wines as an invaluable landmark. It's not easy to say. In the complex landscape of regions terroir, it provides the consumer with a guarantee of pleasure, which is what we want today. In last Tastevinage, we tasted 680 Burgundy wines, and 200 of them were awarded with Tastevinage Shield. And last year, we tasted 1,045 wines, and only 12 got major. So these are the ones we're gonna present you tonight or today. Thank you for your presence. You have a Q&A little possibility to ask questions, so we will try to answer. And in the meantime, now we have the little vinot in front of you, I believe, and we can start to the tasting, because it's time for tasting. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. We are now going to talk to Sophie Labrie. Are you here? You're a producer based in Haute-Côte de Beaune, and you are now presenting your wine. Sophie, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello.
Bonjour, bonjour. We're so happy to have you. So you are the first one to start with.
Yeah.
So with Bourgogne Haute-Côte de Beaune 2019 Blanc Tasteviné. So your domain is in Melun, nearby Haute-Cédurès. And let you talk about this wine, please. Can you present the domain, please?
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon. Excuse me for my strange accent. Hope you will understand me. I'm Sophie Labrie from Domaine André et Bernard Labrie. As said, Arnaud, our wine estate is located in Auxey-Durès. I know it's a bit to pronounce, and especially in the hamlet of Melun in the south of the Côte de Beaune. I'm managing 13 hectares of vine, and for the majority in the Haute-Côte de Beaune area, producing both red and white wines, and also in Auxey-Durès appellation, producing both white and red wines. We also produce some Montely Premier Cru and Meursault. For a brief and short history, André was my grandfather. This wine estate has been created in 1948 by with a wedding of André coming from La Rochefort in the Haute-Côte de Beaune area, and Marie-Thérèse, my grandmother, coming from Melun. And my grandparents spent their life clearing lands in the Haute-Côte de Beaune. And Bernard from Domaine André and Bernard Labrie, my father is my father, and he developed the wine settings and the trellising management of the vines into a lyre system, which means that the vines are wide and high on a V shape or Y shape. It permits to have grass between the rows, avoid gullying and limiting the yields, and also with the grass it's green inside. So we've got a majority of large vines.
Thank you, Sophie. I have just filling my little glass. So 2 centiliters, it's not much, but it's actually what we can have to be able to send the wine overseas without any problem. And I have to say that out of the 216 boxes that we have been dispatching, all of them did arrive in all the places Vincent Barbier was referring just before. So now I believe we all have the wine into our glasses. And so can you tell us about the soil and the vinification process about this wine, please?
So I'm sorry, I've got only a bottle. The vineyard of the Haute-Côte de Beaune is really high in altitude, around 300 meters, with limestone soil. And the specificity is because we're high in altitude, we've got late maturity. And for the vintage 2019, we harvested on the 23rd of September. I just had a look earlier. And it's harvested by hand. So we've got a slow and long pressing, and then I'm oxidating the juices, and then I'm cooling the tank or vat in temperature, and then settling the wine. After the alcoholic fermentation, just after when we've got no more sugar, I put 50% of the cuvee in tank and 50% in barrel. I'm not using new oak barrel because of the typicity of the Haute-Côte de Beaune wine. And the wine is aged for around a year. And then we bottle.
So aging is into a barrel and into vat, is that right?
Yeah, 50-50 around. Really depends on the year. So it gives I serve myself, sorry. Does everybody's tasting while I'm doing?
Yes, everybody should have the wine in his glasses. We don't have. I have to mention that we use Zoom as a webinar, so we don't see all the attendants. We are actually about 100 online, and so you can go on and describe your wine, please.
Yeah, it's a very light color. It has a smell. Sorry, I already tasted. It has a very light smell, but expressive, with a nose, with acidity in it, but a bit of sweetness in it. That's strange. Smells exotic fruits, and that's very long in the mouth, with a point of salt at the end of the mouth, in my opinion. What do you think, Arnaud? and gourmet?
Yes, absolutely. I get this saltiness in the mouth, and I find I like this land. This is just this is a regional appellation, Bourgogne de Côte de Beaune, and this is interesting to get this wine. It's a young wine, 2019, but I think it's already very nice to be drink. And you know, since we have the wine and food pairing that has been proposed by Eric Gottelmann, who is the chef sommelier of Paul Bocuse. And Eric Gottelmann decided to propose with your dish mousseline de grenouille. So this is for you, my friends, mousseline of frog. From Paul Eberlin, l'Auberge de Lille in Alsace. So I think we all need to go to this very nice restaurant so as to be able to. Peter knows very well.
You know.
So we hope to be able to taste this wine together. Thank you, Sophie. We don't have a lot of time to spend with you.
Sorry.
We have 11 wines to taste. If you have questions, you have Q&A possibilities, and I'm sure Sophie will be able to answer in the meantime, as we now are going to pass to going up north to Chablis. Chablis, are you here?
Yes, hello, Arnaud. Hello.
Hello, Marie-Ange. It is good to see you.
Thank you.
So you are now in Chablis. You are a producer which is based in Chablis, Rue Marcelin Berthelot, absolutely. And what can you tell us about your domain, please?
Hello, United States. Thank you Arnaud. Thank you, Chevaliers. We are in Chablis. So Chablis is in a small village, and we are situated in the north of Burgundy. And it's we are from 2 hours from Paris and 1 hour in Dijon. And it's a small village, and the domain is a family domain. It's created by my parents, Denise and Guy Robin, around 1955-60. And what can we say? It's they created by themselves the domain, and it's only white wine, only 100% of Chardonnay. It's a dry white wine, and the grape variety, yes, is only Chardonnay. What can we say about the terroir? The terroir is it's a Kimmeridgian soil, very dry, maritime, iodized soil, and it's well, I can. It's what.
So this particular wine is a blend of different blocks that you own in Chablis, and it has his name. Who is Marie-Ange? Can you tell us about the cuvée? I believe it's named after somebody important.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, sorry. It's a selected of parcel in Chablis. It's all the vineyards. It's they are 50 years old, and it's a selected of a parcel of Chablis. The situation of those parcels, it's close to the Premier Cru. The exposition is west-northwest, and also close to Confrérie. The name is Terroir. It's more in the south. So that's a selected of parcel of Chablis parcel, and the harvest is manual harvest. The vinification, it's natural way. repress. It's the grapes, round grapes, repressed grapes, and then we leave it on the 24 hours static rating, and then we put it 24 hours after. We put the wine, the juice, in oak barrels.
So all of your Chablis is aged into barrels, or do you have some cuvées that
no,
contain still?
That you're right. It's only the cuvée Marie-Ange, which is in oak barrels. We have only 10% of new oak barrels, and then it's old barrels, oak barrels.
Okay, so
Only
now
10%.
you give us the will to taste this wine,
Thank you.
and it is a very clean nose with some spicy notes. It's quite peppery actually, and it's also a young wine, but I believe it will age very well. It's
Yes.
In the vinot, it's not easy to see all the potential of the wine, but I mean, in this small quantity of wine, I see a very nice typical Chablis, which is actually what a lot of people are looking for. We know a lot about big domains. There are some big owners of Chablis. How large is your estate, Marie-Ange?
The estate is around 20 hectares. 20 hectares.
20 hectares. And how many appellations do you
produce? Yeah, that I'm very proud of it because we have the 4 area. I mean, the Petit Chablis, Chablis, and the Premier Cru, and then the Grand Cru. So that's a great. I can be very proud of the parents of it.
So this tasting is not a commercial purpose at all. But can we find your wine into the commerce in the US? Or
oh
is
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yes, we find it in California, in West North Berkeley, and also in Kansas, in Dionysus, and we find it in the 2 places.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And Marie-Ange, you are very used to the Tastevinage Major because I believe you already.
I love it. I love the place.
So it's fantastic.
So wonderful, but it's a long story because the father loved it before, and he was so happy when it was the time to go and taste the wine in the Clos Vougeot. So thank you so much. Great to remember.
It is a great pleasure. I just want to show you the dish that Eric Gottelmann has proposed for this wine. So Eric Gottelmann is a Chevalier du Tastevin, meilleur ouvrier de France, and he tasted all those wines. And for this wine, he proposed something local, very close to your place. And also, Peter, I know you've been going many times to L'Espérance. Unfortunately closed, and we miss our friend Marc Menot that passed away a year from now. So this is the oyster, seed oyster in jelly. Huître, I don't know if we can translate that. Huître angelée d'eau de mer from L'Espérance in Saint-Père. Thank you. I hope.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure everybody appreciates this tasting.
Thank
Even
you.
if the bottle is very small, I have all my tasting buds open, and I like it very much, isn't it, Monsieur le Grand Maître?
Yes. I think I prefer big bottles for next time.
We have a demand from the Grand Maître for bigger bottles.
Right.
Well, we will see. So sorry, but we are now going to change and going to go to Côte de Beaune. Côte de Beaune, you know, is a great place for white wines. And so this is
C'est des petites bouteilles,
Savigny-les-Beaunes. Maybe Mr. Laurent Méret, you are with us now. Can we have Laurent online, please? Ah, here we are.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Laurent. Is
Bonsoir,
your
Laurent.
microphone open? Can you open your microphone, please? So Laurent is a producer from Maison Bouchard Aîné et Fils, and he's a winemaker from this very nice house that.
Vous m'entendez?
Ah voilà.
Oui.
Voilà.
Absolument.
Sorry.
So we hear
Sorry.
you perfectly.
Yeah.
So we are now busy pouring this little bottle of Savigny-les-Beaunes, and what can you tell? There is something special into this wine. What can you tell about
very
the
special.
domain
Hello,
and,
everybody. Hello, United States. Good morning, good afternoon. I am Laurent Méret, the winemaker since 24 years of Bouchard Aîné et Fils. Bouchard Aîné et Fils was founded in 1750, so it's a very old history. And actually, we produce about 4 million of bottles, and we are present in 80 countries. In the world, and the first country is United States. So this wine is Savigny-les-Beaunes Blanc. Savigny is a little village near Beaune, and well, you can see the bottle. This wine, I buy the grape, and I vinify the manual harvest, and this wine has a particularity. It's not 100% of Chardonnay. In the parcel, I have 50% of Pinot Blanc and 50% of Chardonnay. So I press the grape, the both in a pneumatic press during 2 hours. And after I put in a tank, and after two days, I put in another tank, and I start the vinification, the alcoholic fermentation in the tank. And when I have about 30 grams per liter of sugar, I put in barrels. I like to have this technique for this wine because I want to catch the fruit of the Chardonnay and the minerality and flower aroma of the Pinot Blanc. So I use about 25% of new oak in this cuvée. And I want to catch the fruit and to catch the minerality with the Pinot.
Well,
11 months for the aging, and I have more 2 centiliters. And
we only have 2 centiliters with us.
Sorry, I have more.
We have the beautiful glass of the Tastevinage that we use, and you don't have it. So we are even luckier than you. This is very special to have Pinot Blanc and Chardonnay together, and I think especially around the hill of Corton Charlemagne, the hill of Corton, around this very nice place, there is a few blocks with Pinot. Do you buy this vineyard every year? Is it a contract?
Yes, every year I buy. It was 15 years that I make this wine, and I produce about, it depends of course, but about 7,000 bottles of this wine.
Okay, so the wine is showing a lot of fruit. It's obviously the color is interesting because it has a more gold, brilliant hints. Is it? You think that the Pinot gives more color than the Chardonnay, or is it just because
I think
the weather turns dark and it turns to gold in my glass?
yes, it's very good. I think it's more the aging in barrels make that. But the balance between Pinot and Chardonnay is very good with this wine. I think it's it's because you have that is a major of Tastevinage. I think it's the reason.
I think the major are selected by only by tasting blind, and we don't have all this information, and I think the wine does talk by itself. For this wine, the sommelier of Paul Bocuse has selected another dish which contains some frog. Frog lip, how do you say, frog chunks. So this would be frog chunks and garlic mash from Relais Bernard Loiseau. This once again, I'm sure Peter has been going to taste, and I will be eager to be able to taste this wine with you at Relais Bernard Loiseau when we can. Thank you so much, Laurent,
you.
for this experience of a very, very interesting Savigny. And I'm sure you can find this Savigny in the US.
Yes,
And
yes, of course. Yes, yes.
fantastic. Thank you so much. And if you
Thank
have
you.
questions about the wines, just use the chat, and there is a Q&A. Inform if the wine are imported to USA and with the distributor. We will put all the information, Diran, in the file. We don't all have all the information, but we hope to get them for you, and we'll send it to you. So next domain, we stay in Côte de Beaune. We like Côte de Beaune, and we go a bit further south. Further south, and I would like to introduce you to Nathalie Bernard. Are you here, Nathalie? Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, Arnaud and Mr. Barbier. Hello, everybody in the US.
Bonsoir, bonsoir.
So, Nathalie, you are the winemaker of a family estate. What can you tell us about your domain?
I am Nathalie Bernard. I represent the fifth generation of Domaine Bader-Mimeur. This family estate is located in Chassagne-Montrachet, in the south of Côte de Beaune. It was founded in 1919 by my great-great-grandfather, Mr. Charles Mimeur. And for 5 years now, I have been taking care of this 8 hectares estate, operating in the vineyard as well as in the cellar. Our plots are located mostly in Chassagne-Montrachet, but also Saint-Aubin. And the heart of the estate is the historical vineyard of Château de Chassagne-Montrachet, which we own at 98%. But the wine you are tasting tonight is a Chassagne-Montrachet village white from a plot outside the chateau. It's a single vineyard from the Terroir, Les Houillères.
How do you spell that?
I need to pronounce.
Sorry,
Anyway.
Les Houillères. It must be difficult. What does that mean?
So the name of this climat refers directly to the composition of its soil, because indeed in Burgundian language, la houille means heat, that is to say a slow decomposition of plants in a fairly humid environment. And actually this plot, what is so special about it, it's that it's located 150 meters from the Grand Cru. and very close to Puligny, because we also have a Les Houillères terroir in Puligny.
Just on the border, so just on
the border, very close to Puligny, exactly, yes.
Fantastic.
And we have owned this plot since 1950, but it's only since 2014 that we have been working it as a single vineyard.
So how many different type of wines do you produce at Domaine Bader-Mimer?
So we have around 10 different cuvées, mainly Chassagne-Montrachet, white and red. Yes. And this cuvée, what is quite special, it's our eldest Chardonnay vines. The vines are around 65 years old. And this is the only plot that is totally covered by grass. We don't work the soil. So we have a better competition between grass and the vine, which leads to a better concentration.
Fantastic. So I have a wine in my glass, and so has Vincent.
Yep.
And I see he's taking some notes very seriously. So I believe you hint our nose, and when we nose the wine, we have all these very nice aromas of lime tree flowers and very fruity background. What have you been? Do you work all your wines in the same spirit? Do we find this elegance? I'm sure we find.
Yes, actually, we have really the same process for all our white village cuvées. That is to say, we do the alcoholic fermentation directly into the barrels. I put 20% new oak, only French barrels. And also we work only with natural alcoholic fermentation, indigenous yeast. So we have very long alcoholic fermentation, and especially this cuvée, the sugars ended 8 months later after harvest. So it helps also postponing the sulfiting. And of course, yes, this vintage 2017 gave very elegant wines, very well balanced, with the aromatic freshness and tension.
So do you still have some bottles? Because when I sip the wine, I just enjoy my tasting, and I want more. This is definitely a too small bottle for such a wine, and it's a type of wine that you want to associate with a very traditional, very special dish. That we're proposing, and tonight or for lunch, depending for us tonight for the dinner, I'm going to prepare this beautiful soup. I don't know if I have time to prepare this soup, but definitely, this soup from Paul Bocuse has been invented by Mr. Bocuse, Monsieur Paul, for Valéry Giscard d'Estaing. In 1975, a young president that is also was also a member of the Confrérie. We inducted Valéry Giscard d'Estaing in this room actually, and about 45 years ago. Thank you so much for this wine. I'm just gonna check if there's some questions that we can answer. So we don't know. We will see if your wine can be found in the US. I'm sure it is possible.
Yeah,
but,
we export quite a lot in the US, but unfortunately not yet this cuvée. But I hope I will export it very soon.
When you have a Tastevinage Major, it can give some idea. Thank you so much for the wine. It is great to see you, Nathalie. And now we are going to go a bit further south. The rhythm is a bit quick, but together with Peter, we decided to have this tasting only. Merci beaucoup, Richard. We decided to have this tasting only in 1 hour and a half. So to test 11 wines in 1 hour and a half demands a little bit of exercise, but I'm sure you have all your samples in front of you, and so you can taste the wine and open the little. I did not even finish my glass from the former, so I speak too much. So I want now Patrice. Actually, Patrice, I believe your estate is located also in Chassagne-Montrachet. Bonjour, Patrice du Jeu.
Bonjour. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Patrice Dujeu from the Héritier Saint-Genis estate. Héritier Saint-Genis is a fairly new estate because it has been created in 2011, right? And we are based in Chassagne-Montrachet. And when we took over the estate, it was almost abandoned, meaning that we had to replant a lot and to buy new materials for the winery, and it was really a creation. And so we do wines in Chassagne-Montrachet, of course, in Centenay, Côte de Beaune, and also we have a vineyard which is very important for us, which is the Clos Marcilly in Mercurey, Côte Chalonnaise. And the Clos Marcilly is one of the 5th historical Premier Cru in Mercurey. It's 7.5 hectares that we own as a monopole. So it's quite a big monopole for Burgundy. And when we took over, we decided to replant part of the Clos Marcilly with Chardonnay that gave this Clos Marcilly white. We planted on a part of one part of the clos where the soil with the clay and limestone seemed to be very appropriate to the white. So this is 2018 that has been in Burgundy for a very good vintage. It's a very young vine because we planted in our white vines in 2012, 2013, and 2014. So it's an average of 5 years old. It's all, of course, unpicked harvest. And what we do is when we get the grapes, it goes directly to the pneumatic press, and then we put the juice in tank for 2 days, keeping it cold, and then it goes directly into barrel after 2 days, and we do the fermentations in barrels. Only oak barrels. We use some quite big, so with the traditional 228 liters, and also 400 liters, and even 12 hectoliters.
So 12 hectoliters, it's like 6 barrels. Is that right? 6.
It's like 4. Yes, it's like 6 barrels, about 5 or 6.
Okay,
and it
so
gives a better
for the whites, because I have to tell you, and Patrice, you didn't tell, but this is the first time that it's happening for the measure of the Tastevinage. But we will taste a wine Mercurey Premier Cru Clos Marcilly in white now, but we will talk to you again in about half an hour when you will be presented the Mercurey Clos de Marcilly red. So you have hit the jackpot twice with your wines, and it's a great discovery. Also,
yes, it's 2 majors in the same parcel.
One white,
very
one
proud.
red,
Thank you.
same appellation. This is quite fantastic.
Same cru, same monopole.
Thank you.
So let us taste now the wine. We do have it into the glass,
So I have it also in a glass.
and so I mean the color is brilliant, and you have a nice robe. But
Yes, it's a clear yellow and some little green reflects, I would say, but white.
so there's not many Mercury whites premier cru. What is usually the percentage of whites in Mercury appellation?
In fact, I think Mercury is the biggest, one of the biggest appellation in Burgundy. It's a little over 600 hectares, and it's the huge majority is red, and I would say maybe it's I don't know, 5–10% white. To give you an example, we are a very small estate, but with the Clos Marcilly white, we are the biggest producer of Premier Cru white in Mercury.
Okay, so this is a great discovery for a lot of our participants to this tasting. You know, to discover a white Premier Cru from Mercury in Côte Chalonnaise. What I really like in this wine is this very nice length, this lime that attracts and gives a lot of backbone to the palate. Is it because of the soil? Do you have a big percentage of limestone in the?
Yes, it's because of the soil. It's the parts of the clos where we did plant the Chardonnay is where we have the most of the limestone, and it's what gives this stone taste. I would say. We say in French, pierre à fusil.
Gunflint is in English.
Flint, yes.
So this is what we enjoy with this wine. It's nice to talk to you, Patrice, and I know we're gonna talk to each other a little later, so it's even better. Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much.
Wine. You can, dear Chevalier members, it's nice if you make some comments on the little chat box. It's easy, and it's always good to have some feedback. I hope the tasting is presenting well, and the wines are showing good and homogeneous quality up to the standards that you enjoy. For this wine, we go in the food and wine tasting a bit in the central part of France, and this is a selection that I also want to come to Pierre Troisgros in Rouen. Now it's not in Rouen anymore, but it's moved only 10 kilometers from Rouen with Peter. Peter, are you happy if we go together to Troisgros to taste this salmon with sorrel? Which is a classical of the French cuisine, but Troisgros has been creating this about 30 years ago, and the way he cut the salmon was very different from the traditions that we have in France, and it has been giving a new French cuisine flair to the cooks all over France. Thank you so much, Patrice.
Thank you very much.
This was the last,
you later.
but not the least, white wine of the tasting. But now we are going to thank you for your comment, Jeff. The Clos Marcilly has excellent length and palate depth on such a young wines. I totally agree, Jeff, on your comment. And I think it's nice to have you commenting the wines. I'm finishing my glass, and we're gonna I'm changing my glass. You can change your glass if you have two glasses in front of you. Now we're gonna pour a little treasure from nearby, but I think unfortunately we don't have Vincent Monjard with us online, but some of you know the character. He doesn't speak a lot of English. So he told me that we would not be able to talk together. Here is Vincent. I show you on the screen. Vincent asked me to present the wine, and maybe Le Grand Maître will help me on this. This is actually, we have the cheminée here. From the window, we see on the right, we have the plots of the Von Romanet. And the beauty with this Bourgogne Pinot Noir, which is actually the basis of the appellation pyramid. The basis of this Pinot Noir is actually a few 100 meters from here. Vincent Monjard on the domaine Monjard-Mugneret have been making wines for at least 2 generations in Vaune, and the father of Vincent has increased the possession of the vineyard throughout the year, including some beautiful Échezeaux, Grand Échezeaux, Grand Crus. But you know those wines, you might have tasted them. The difficulty in Burgundy is to produce great wine with a lesser appellation. This is the case with this Bourgogne, which is actually we have a big block of Pinot Noir in Von Romanet. So as you can read on the screen, because I'm reading also the screen, I don't know everything by heart. We have Jurassic soils, limestone, and deep clay. This is also the beauty with those wines. They use the new wood for the greater appellations, and they keep the older barrel for the Bourgogne, and therefore the Bourgogne doesn't show too much oak. We have a red robe, very dark, and the nose is very powerful, very intense. It opens up, and it has some fruit aromas. It is you want to taste. I'm sure everybody wants to taste this wine. So let me taste it in the mouth. So what I like with this wine is it has some tannins, but they are still very supple, very elegant. It has a very nice length. It's, I don't remember what Eric Gottelman suggested for the wine, but I would personally cook a little œuf en merette and taste it. And maybe I would even cook the œuf en merette sauce with the same wine. But obviously, this is not the case for this, because we asked Eric Gottelman to look for different type of food on wine pairing. I see, Peter, you enjoy this wine. I can see you on the screen, and this is a dish from Eric Prat. Eric Prat is the new chef of La Meloise, and for this he had suggested a duck burgot, cooked tenderloin, corn, beetroot, juice flavored with wild blackberries. So I would not have gone to such a complex wine, but I think, Peter, you will be happy to come with me to La Meloise to taste the wine, maybe with Vincent Monjard, if the wine is listed. I'm sure you can find this wine in the American market, for it is a large production. of 150,000 bottles. So this is also something very unique to be able to produce such a big quantity of. You think the total production of
I don't
the
know, but
okay, it might be the total production of the estate. We're gonna double check that, but I'm sure we would be happy to taste the wine, and maybe you can find it in the US. Thank you so much, Grand Maître. Thank you for the service, and we're now gonna change to the next wine, and it's even a larger.
Merci, Richard.
A larger difficulty, because the winemaker we're gonna have now is actually located in Hong Kong. So it's very late in the evening, but he decided to raise and to stand up late at night so as to be able to follow the tasting. Florian, are you here?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Fantastic. What
I
time
do
is
not
it in Hong
pretend to
Kong
be the
now?
winemaker though.
What time is it in Hong Kong?
2:30 a.m.
Oh, but you look great, huh?
yeah.
You don't look too jet lag. So we're happy to have you. And I know you don't have the wine in front of you because you could not take the vinot in your suitcase.
It
Or
just arrived
maybe
today in
you have
Hong Kong.
you don't have it in Hong Kong. So I'm pouring the Bourgogne Haute Côte de Beaune as you are presenting your estate, please.
So Domaine Rossignol Cornu has been created about 5 generations ago. So my brother is the 5th generation. He is the winemaker with my dad. Domaine Rossignol Cornu has been created with my grandfather, Bernard Rossignol, that was a winemaker in Volnay, and my grandmother, Claude Cornu, that was from Pernan-Vergelès. So we have wine going from Meursault to Pernan-Vergelès. And this specific plot of Haute Côte de Beaune is located there in Pernan-Vergelès, on the same Canton Charlemagne hill on the other side. It's usually late ripening, so it's the last plot we are harvesting. 2019, it's great vintage to drink now. So we harvested by hand, then followed by 100% stems. After that, we do a 7 to 9 days cold soaking. Then we let go the fermentation, alcoholic fermentation. Then it will be pressed and then put in oak barrels, French oak barrels for a year, 12 months. And depending on the wine, will be no fining and no filtration. It really depends. When you taste this wine, what I can't do, you find a lot of red fruit, like sweet strawberries, a lot of like sweet spices, like cinnamons. It's a wine that is really round and how you say that? Snoozing. Feels good when you drink it. It's comfort wine.
It's not easy to describe a wine when you don't have in front of you, and we are lucky enough to have this very small bottle, but with a lot of excellence inside. So when I pour my glass, I have this nice ruby color, and it is typical, I would say, of Pinot Noir, a bit less intense than the former wine. Which actually was from 2018. We're now in 2019, so it's a very young wine. So how long do you age the wine, the Haute Côte?
12 months in French oak barrels.
Okay, and so this is quite classical for Bourgogne Haute Côte de Beaune, I believe. Do you have can you describe your vinification style?
Yeah, so when we harvest by hand, then the grapes come to the estate, 100% stems, cold soaking, then alcoholic fermentation, then press, mechanic press to extract the tannins from the skin and not the seeds. And then it's put in barrels for 12 months. That's it.
But when I taste your wine, Florian, I believe I'm already in Volnay. Are you sure you put Haute Côte de Beaune in the bottles, or what is? No, I'm just telling you that we have a richness on the palate, which is very, very intense. And you manage to get the ripeness on the Haute Côte vineyard, which is very interesting. You have great length, you have soft tannins, and the overall balance is very interesting. I would also be happy to eat something with this wine, and I believe that Peter would be happy to join me to the keynote in London, so as to be able to taste Wagyu beef. Maybe I would not go for a Wagyu beef. I would go for a Charolais, but this is the choice of Eric Gottelman. Wagyu beef just roasted with chetina of beef from Galicia. So we're traveling to Japan, to Spain, and obviously to Burgundy. And this is also the beauty of this wine and food pairing. Thank you very much to be wake up so early. Is the nightclub open in Hong Kong? What is the rest
Not
of
anymore. I just came back actually.
You just come back from the nightclub. Fantastic. Thank you so
you
much
thank you for the
your
tasting.
presence. I believe, all our members in the US really appreciate that you make this effort to be present and to comment your wines. And thank you, because this is another great discovery that we're making tonight. Burgundy is not only about Grand Cru. Grand Cru in Burgundy is only 2% of the production, and with those wines, you give the opportunity to a lot of people to be able to taste the best standard of regional appellation. So many thanks, and now we're gonna switch to another domain, which is actually located in Tailly. I don't know if anybody knows where Tailly is. Actually, Tailly is just behind Meursault, very nice little village. And in this little village, we are now going to meet Gabriel Fournier, the owner, together with John Parker, who is an English gentleman living in Burgundy, and that is happy to help Gabriel to translate his emotion and feelings towards the two next wines. So what I'm going to ask you on this tasting is to grab another glass and to also pour the second Domaine de la Galoppière wine, which is a Pommard, so that we can taste, which is very interesting, the same vintage, the same vinification process, the same producer, but two different blocks, two different appellations. So Richard, thank you so much for bringing us the next wine. So I have in my left glass the Savigny, and then I have the Pommard, and I suggest we all taste those two wines together. Gabriel, are you around?
Il est là.
Fantastique, on vous entend. À vous.
Yes. Yes. Ah, à vous.
Bonsoir, bonjour.
Hello. This is John Parker speaking on behalf of Gabi. Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour.
What it is, because I live in the village and I lived for 8 years and got to know Gabriel Fournier very well as a friend and as an excellent winemaker. The Domaine de la Galoppière is the fourth generation. Now, Gabriel, who is standing on my right, is a third generation, and his son, who is standing on my left, is the fourth generation. The domain appellations in the Rhône a total of 11 hectares. Wines are Haute-Côte, Ladois, Meursault, and Chassagne-Montrachet. And the red wines, Bourgogne-les-Beaunes, Aloxe-Corton, and Pommard. The Savigny-le-Beaune is harvested by hand, and the grapes are destalked, and they are the maceration takes 18 days. After that, there is the alcoholic fermentation. And the Savigny spends 1 year in French oak barrels. The Savigny is an intense red wine with very strong perfumes and of black fruits, red fruits, and for me always has a touch of black pepper. All vinifications of the wines at the La Galoppière are done naturally. All the wines. The Pommard 2019 is also manual harvesting, and the cuvasson takes place over 20 days. After pressing, the wine is matured in French oak casks for a year. This wine is also a very intense wine on the nose, roasted coffee, black fruit again, and a black cherry, plum, blackberry, and this wine in particular, of the two wines, although both wines are already round and balanced wines, the Pommard has a wonderful balance between the tannins and the fruits, which makes it a very drinkable wine right now, which, as I've said to Gabrielle on several occasions, is a bit of a shame, really, because it'll be even better after 5 or 10 years. So those are the two wines which are on display now.
Thank you very much. It's very nice from you, John, to enable us to communicate together with Vincent and Gabriel Fournier. Vincent and Gabriel aim is to produce very special wines, and they not focus on English, but I believe you're a perfect provider of information for this. And we were supposed to come to visit the domain last week, all together with the old majors of 2020 Tastevinage. Unfortunately, we could not, but I really appreciate that you make the effort to present your wines live from your winery. We see the barrels. We used to see the barrels on the back, and I believe it's very important for you the aging and the know-how of aging. When we taste the wines, it's very interesting to taste them just besides, because obviously they have different profiles due to the region of vinification, and this is what we call
Yes.
horizontal tasting. It doesn't mean that you have to taste the wine in a horizontal position, but you have to taste the wine from the same vintage, same producers. from what I like into the Savigny is this very fruit aromas with a lot of floral. We are on the location of spring, and it's time now in Burgundy. Even though we have had some terrific frost last week. We see the different trees flowering, and we see the nature that comes to propose the 2021 vintage soon. I really appreciate this Savigny, and I think it will absolutely be a great match. Also, with traditional French and Burgundian cuisine, I suggest we open this book to select a wine. You know, I don't know if you know, my dear confrère, Zoom. But we've just launched this beautiful cookbook, which is called Bon Appétit et Large Soif. Bon Appétit et Large Soif it's in English actually, and it's about Burgundy, obviously, recipes, and obviously the confrérie. So I'm gonna try to find the recipes that we could match with the Savigny. There is like 40 different recipes, and I see a pâté en croûte, and I think the Savigny les bonnes with the pâté en croûte from the chateau. What do you think, grand maître?
Ah oui, absolument, absolutely, you are right, Arnaud.
So this is my suggestion. This is not the suggestion from Eric Gottelmann, but for the Pommard. What do you think, Romain? Do you think the Pommard is typical from what to expect from such an appellation?
He's young for the moment, 19. He's young, but I think he will age better and better and open more. But yes,
it has a classical structure of the tannins of Pommard, and it is not too obvious tannins. It's quite delicate, and this is also the beauty of the wine. On the nose, red and black fruit with a nice length, and on the palate, you want to wait. Yes, another 10 years maybe. Keep it, store it, and drink it with friends. I think this is what we all want to do with Burgundy wines, and this is also the beauty of it. So for this particular wine, Domaine de la Galopière, which is actually on the label you see Vincent et Gabriel Fournier. But it is Domaine de la Galopière. Can we see the label, please? Okay, thank you. On the label, you see a horse, and this is Galop mean a horse that runs very, very fast, and so this is the name of the estate, and this is also a great discovery for me with this wine. Thank you so much. We have a little difficulty with the connection, but I just want to show you this Pommard 2019 with, I don't know if you've ever been to Montsuquet in Paris, but this is the next place to be. And I'm sure, Peter, you will be happy to come with me on the Grand Maître to taste this picanha of beef picanha with tamarind sauce. It looks good. Actually, I've not tasted it, but it looks good. Like, you know, a target. We want to target on this piece of beef, and I'm sure it will match perfectly with the Pommard 2019. This is once again a selection from Eric Gottelmann from the Paul Bocuse sommelier. Wow, this is the last one, but we don't see anymore. The vineyard. Oh no, this is not the last one. Sorry, we have two more. Sorry, I was just missing one. Sorry, Patrice. We are back to.
Merci.
Can I say
I'm sorry, we don't really hear you, John. We unfortunately have difficulties with. Maybe you are too much in your cellar, and the walls are too large. It could be, or the connection is not that good. But thank you so much for taking the effort to present Vincent and Gabriel's work, and we are very keen on having those wines on the market or in your cellar. Obviously, you are all invited to the cellar when you come to Burgundy, isn't it? Well, maybe I say too much. Anyway, Patrice, are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. Thank you for your presence once again. You already
Thank you.
presented the estate.
So we are back again at the Clos Marcilly. Maybe I don't present the estate again. So originally the Clos Marcilly was only red, and when we did replantation, we did this part in white, and then we replanted a lot of reds, meaning we replanted 2 hectares 50 about. But we kept 1 hectare 80 from 1947 and 80 hours from 1956. So the Clos Marcilly red is a part of very old vines and new vines. It's on the eastern part of the Clos, which is much less limestone, so it was it makes some richer reds. It's always a manual harvest, so we harvest in small crates of 10 kilos, meaning that the grapes goes directly from the vines to the winery, and it's not the grapes into the bucket into the comment on dit ça,
the
The vat.
Voilà, c'est direct from the vines to the.
So it's not this time. You have a whole bunch.
Yes, and then for the vinification, we do in 18. In fact, we did 85% distilled, and what we do is we put entire grapes at the bottom, then distilled, then entire grapes. It's what we call the sandwich. So when we do the remontage and it goes and pitching, it's.
So you mean you make some punch down, and you put one layer of whole bunch, one layer of distilled grapes, one layer of whole bunch, and this enables to extract more juice. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic. So this is also a process that you use for all your red wines?
Yes. For all the red wines, we do it this way. And so the vinification we have a cold pre-fermentation, and then after 2 weeks fermentation, we have the press rush, the press, and then we keep the wines again for 2 weeks about in tank before going in oak barrels, and it's 100% oak barrels. In 2018, we had 20% new oak, And as for the whites, we used a 12 hectoliters barrel. For the reds, we use 228 liters, 400 liters, and also one big
we call that
full
food
tank of 30 hectoliters.
30 hectoliters. It's
Yes,
called
30.
food. 30,
30.
30. So the foudre are still used in different wine regions of Burgundy. I see some in Marsanne, for instance, at Domaine Bruno Clair. They use some foudre, and it's nice to see the traditions that is respected also in the Mercurey, so as to keep the fruit and to use also the barrels as a backbone of the wine. I say that also because I have in the past been using a lot of proposing a lot of barrels before to join the Confrérie, so I'm always amazed about the process, the different process that people use, like larger barrels, smaller barrels. This is something very interesting. What type of wood, which chauffe, which type of toasting, etc. This is, I mean, the process, the vinification mixed. That is so important to make a special wine.
So we take also, of course, we take barrels from different barrel makers. It's not all coming from the same. You are not using the same barrels for whites and for reds, and we use different barrels makers for different wines.
So I see that you, I believe you have done 450 magnums. Do you still have some?
450 magnums, and we also did a few Jeroboams.
This is a large production for you. This Mercurey Premier Cru, is it like half of your estate, or is it?
The Clos Marcier is half of the estate.
Wow. So and do you produce like young vines, or do you produce like a Mercurey so as to keep the older vine for the Premier Cru? Do you have an approach like this?
What we do is it's not. We do a selection of the best of what we consider the best barrels, and we do a specific cuvée which is called cuvée Clovis, and then we do the Mercurey Clos Marcier, but not specific cuvée, and doesn't mean that it's not only the old vines in the Clovis. It's just a selection of the best barrels we found. But
what is the Clovis name after? Is it?
It's named after my son.
Oh, it's a good idea.
But it's interesting to see that for the 2018 we had been Tastevinage for the Mercurey Red, and we have been major with the Mercurey Red, and we also presented the Clovis, which has been Tastevinage also, but wasn't major. So it's.
So this is very interesting. The cuvée you presented actually is larger than the Clovis cuvée, but the taster prefer this wine.
They prefer this one.
So this is something very interesting.
So it's very interesting.
For this wine, I don't have food and wine pairing, but I'm going to ask the Grand Maître. What would do you want to select something from the book, because there's many good recipes, and I think it's definitely something you want to taste with nice, maybe veal. I would go for a veal, braisé or something like that. But,
quails.
Oh, quails. Oh,
Quails.
fantastic. So the grand-maître decided to go for some quails, and it looks good. I see the plate of the
Very
confrérie.
good.
And
good
what do
choice.
you think, Patrice? Shall we go to
Yes.
Vincent's place to taste his quails?
Yes, I think it's a very good,
And to go together.
very good choice.
Peter, you know how well Fabienne can cook. So
Yes.
when can we go and test the quails, Vincent?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, perfect. So all of you that from the US, all of you that can come, you are invited next Thursday at Vincent and Fabienne for a quail, together with Clos Marcilly Tastevinage.
Okay, so I bring the wine.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So we're perfectly on time, and thank you for all of you for this. Just giving your speeches and sharing. I think the rhythm is good. And now we're going to the next door vineyard. And Eva, are you here?
I'm here, yeah. Can you hear me?
Si.
Fantastic. Are you in Vougeot?
I'm not in Vougeot, no. No, not this weekend, but soon again.
Good, fantastic. So Eva, I think you are the one that has had, since the creation of the major of the Tastevinage, all your vintages designed as major of the Tastevinage. So
Yes.
I don't know what is your secret. Can you tell us?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we're so happy for this prize and being part of this tasting today as well. It's really fantastic of organizing all this. Yeah, thank you.
Petite bouteille.
So Eva, you are. Can you tell us about the Domaine Bertagna, the estate, and your philosophy?
Yeah, so Domaine Bertagna is in Vougeot, just next to you, actually. Domaine Bertagna is a winery which has 17 hectares in total. Most of the vineyards are in the Côte de Nuit, and quite a lot in Vougeot. Vougeot is very famous for the Grand Cru Clos Vougeot, but it also has some very beautiful Vougeot Premier Cru. So today you have in your class, you have the 2018 Vougeot Clos de la Perrière, which is just opposite the Clos Vougeot. It's beautiful, surrounded by the Clos Vougeot Grand Cru. And up in the north, you have Musigny and Les Amoureuses on the side. And you have a beautiful rock which protects the vineyards from the wind. It's actually the vineyard which is in flower first of all our vineyards, generally. And it is a monopole of 2.2 hectares in total. So the vines are, 2/3 of the vines are being planted in 65 a little while ago. And 1/3 has been replanted in 2012. So what we do is we do a queen harvest after the flowering to make sure that the vines are not too full of grapes, that most minerality goes in the lower part of the grapes. And unfortunately, of course, as everybody knows, the last few years we had different climate problems. They were not so much wine, but they were beautiful. Especially in 2018, we had a very hot summer, very dry, so very little water, and which makes that the skin was quite thick with very little juice in it. So you can see in the class as well, the colors are very intense colors, the flavors are very intense. You have a lot of black flavors in it, spices, truffle flavors, some pepper flavors, and with the aging, it goes a little bit into chocolate. Of course, the wine is still very young, has quite a lot of tannin still, but with loads of other things, you need to have a little bit of passion and try to wait till it's perfect to drink. The nice thing also in the Clos de la Perrière is that you have a beautiful soil, a very good drainage. You have red and brown clay and smaller limestones, which gives a very nice minerality to the wines as well. So when we do harvest the wines, generally speaking, we harvest in small boxes, like most of my colleagues do, and then we bring all the grapes into the winery, we sort it out. And then for the Clos de la Perrière, we have stamped about 70% in 2018 and left about for 30% we left the stamps on. And then we keep the grapes on a very low temperature for about a week to make sure that the fermentation does not start. And once the fermentation starts with natural yeast. Of course, we control very much the temperature as well, make sure that the fermentation goes very slowly, which takes about 3 weeks and even more. And during this time, we pump over and do very, very few pigeage only. And once we can, when the fermentation is over, we press and then we put the wines in about 50% of new oak every year. So we only take very fine grain oak. We don't want to have a too intense taste of the oak, very fine grain oak, which has a nice elegance and gives also this very special flavors of freshness and beautiful tannins.
Thank you. I totally agree with you, Eva. I mean, this nose is just like giving us so much. It's like a perfume. It's a rose by itself. It's a bouquet, and then on the palate we have this richness. We have it's very attractive. It has both this minerality and the fruit and the backbone. So this is you know, to the level of a great Premier Cru. You're located really, you know, just to remind our friends from the US. I mean, your block, your parcel, is just located between the Clos Vougeot and the Musigny.
Yeah.
And actually, the Clos de la Perrière, Perrière means stone. It's actually the place where the stone was extracted to build the chateau. So we have big links together, and one of it is your presence at the Tastevinage, to all the different tasting that we propose, and every time your wines are present. I have a question from James. What does James say? I do hope you make this an annual event. Okay, thank you. We hope we can do that. So we need a special bottling for the Tastevin of Massachusetts. So I hope you are imported in Boston, says Jeff. So are you? I'm sure your wines are available overseas.
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are available in the US. Also in Boston, they are sold by Took Family Selection, and I'm not sure who sells it in Boston now. I think it could be Plaza in Boston. I'm not sure. I'll have to just check it and let you know in 2 minutes.
Fantastic. I just answering a few of the demands we have online. The majors of the Tastevinage. So we are doing this for 3 years now, and we have been proposing this majors tasting to the wine committee of d'Amérique. So hopefully we hope that the wine committee of d'Amérique, and I know some of the members are online, will be interested in proposing to the different sous-commanderies those wines, because this is also the aim of the Confrérie, is to propose something different from what you have on the market. You have big names, you have big estates. Obviously, Bertagna is a part of them, and a few other, but we are very happy to introduce you to some domains that have only 10 years old, like Héritier Saint-Genis, and that are new on the market, struggling, doing their best to propose the very best of the wines. And this is also what we aim to do with the Confrérie. When I taste this wine, sorry, I take a little bit more of the time. We are supposed to end this tasting, but I really enjoy the wine, and I think we all have a sip of this wine and are willing to eat something with it. And the beauty of it is that we have a suggestion from our sommelier from Bocuse, but I don't have the picture, but we can imagine. It's apple and roasted veal sweetbread, veal juice infused with porcini mushrooms, porcini crisps, and salsifis. And this is a recipe from the Meilleur Ouvrier de France, Olivier Couvin, who is actually the executive chef of Paul Bocuse. So I don't know if your wines are present at l'Auberge de Collonges, Eva, but I'm sure you need to talk to the sommelier, Eric Gottelman. He knows your wines and he likes them. Yeah. And I'm now going to leave the last word to Vincent. Just a few things before. I want to thank all the winemakers for their presence, obviously. I propose that all the members that are gathered in this speech, as we were not able to see you, if you can just take a picture of you with one of the bottles you enjoyed, and send it to Tastevinage at tastevinage.fr. We will be able to make a little article on this in the next Tastevin en Main magazine, and this will be nice. So if you can do that, this is the address actually appears on the chat box. There is some more question. Thank you so much for all your comments. And cher grand maître, I leave you with the last word.
Merci Eva pour ce joli vin. Je t'embrasse. Many thanks to all of you. It's great to stay in touch. We hope you enjoyed those wines, and we hope they have a great future in your cellars. We are hoping to welcome you next year in 2022 in spring at the Château du Clos de Vougeot for your Grand Conseil. In the meantime, the Château is open and we have plenty of new and exciting development. The Château du Clos de Vougeot cookbook in English, just there. Okay. La Table de Léonce is a tasting lunch in the Renaissance room of the Château, just here. And the Soir au Clos de Vougeot is a private and itinerant dinner in the courtyard of the Château, only during the spring and summer season.
But in winter, maybe we can do it in some other part of the monument. We are really happy to spend this time with you. Maybe we would like to talk a little bit with Peter. Peter, if you're still online, can you give us your feedback as a wine tester, as a Chevalier in St. Louis?
I'm here. I hope you can hear me. It's been wonderful to hear about these wonderful wines, and from the great winemakers. Again, congratulations. You talked, Arnaud, about the small sample quantities. I think they were just fine. And the food pairings were excellent. As a matter of fact, I am still a little thirsty and I'm certainly hungry. So we may have to have an early dinner tonight. But and going to a number of those wonderful restaurants in France. We're all looking forward to getting back to France as soon as possible. We'll have to take a little extra time to go to all those restaurants, but we'll be able to order and enjoy the bigger bottles of wine. So very much looking forward to it. This was a wonderful event. Thank you all again for doing this late on a Sunday night or Monday morning from Hong Kong. I'm not sure. It was a worldwide event. We've all enjoyed it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't suggest that we end this wonderful celebration of wine and winemakers with a Bon Bourguignon. You may not be able to see all 200 of us back here in the States, but Arnaud,
I totally agree.
Vincent,
Peter, just hold on. In the meantime, I would like all the technicians and all the people in the back of this tasting to come behind us here, because it has been something to organize, and there's a few people behind the screen. So please come by. Florian, if you can leave also the. So it's not the. It is not La Brigade du Château, but these are all the people that have been involved into this and that are here to celebrate and to organize this unique event. So please, my friend, do raise your hands. Les mains en l'air. 1, 2.
La la la
Merci à tous.
Merci à tous.
One last thing, you will receive a questionnaire with some question about the tasting. If you can just fill it up so that we get the feedback from you. Thank you so much. See you next year. See you in Burgundy. We miss you.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Vous remettez le film.
On perd une goutte.